Greetings. It's been a while since I've done my live Sunday morning YouTube. I've been away on some trips, and I thought I would jump in here and talk about what so many of the questions I've been getting about my weight loss journey. And I'm going to be doing some full videos on my blood work. I'm going to do a full video on my weight gain and how, yes, I was uh, hesitant to uh, show it as it was happening. And you can you can uh, do some easily look good in clothes videos without showing um, the 10, 15 excess pounds that came on. But I am actually going to be very vulnerable in an upcoming video and show pictures that, yes, I did take pictures because I was struggling and I wanted to have uh, before pictures so that I could be encouraged by my progress. So thanks for joining in live. If you could tell me if you can hear me okay, because I am using a remote mic and this is the first time I'm doing a YouTube live with this mic. So if you could just let me know if the mic's going okay. All right. So what I was getting at is it's been a battle, and awesome. Thank you, Dusty. Uh, it's been a battle, and I'm going to really go through what has happened, and I'll give you a little glimpse into the blood work because people will say, well, you look great. Well, you know what? I was accumulating a tire here and my thighs were starting to rub together and my body fat percentage was going up. And I'm 60. This happened really over the past, I'm going to say 5 to 7 years. It was this gradual creep. And I was just like, oh, I gotta do another sardine fast. Oh, let's look into this dry fasting. Oh, let's get into ketosis. Oh, and I'm no different than many of you out there with all the conflicting information. And what the heck am I going to do to solve this problem? My problem? Um, Creeping up at 30% body fat did not feel metabolically healthy to me, nor do I believe it's metabolically healthy. My A1C was going up, morning glucose over 100. And here I am, carnivore all these years, and I need to figure it out. So, yes, there is information as far as carnivore isn't necessarily ketosis. Carnivore is eating food from the animal kingdom, right? And you could say meat, seafood, eggs, dairy if you tolerate it, and water. But you can do that and not be in ketosis. So then you say, okay, well, you need to do high fat carnivore. And also intermittent fasting, throw that in there to get into ketosis. Because some people, and myself included, could do a 70-30 macro and not get into ketosis. Well, throw in some sardine days. Oh, okay, there's ketosis. But guess what? That's not sustainable for me. I don't like sardines. I don't want to feel I need to do sardines on a weekly basis all day to get a number where I think it needs to be and not enjoy my food. And it's not satiating and sustainable long term. Is it a tool? Can you learn something about things? Yeah, I'm so glad I did it. I learned what true hunger really is for me because I don't enjoy eating sardines, but I will say that um, for sure, as time went on and I continued to experience these things, I don't like to use the term experiment, but ultimately, yes, we can't manage what we don't measure. It turns into sort of a science experiment. What and my body and my health are at stake for this. So I just feel at this point that as my progress has been happening and my journey to optimal health, which is really my favorite term, is evolving. And I'm finally, for myself, understanding what is leading me there. Okay. Now, I am very cautious. I don't want to derail anybody who's just coming into keto and carnivore and who has a lot of health issues. And yes, keto and carnivore, well, we'll say carnivore and lion diet can be very beneficial. And so I'm hesitant because I don't want to sidetrack people who are on a great path at their point in their journey because believe me, I'm 16 years in on carnivore and it's been remarkable, miraculous for me in dealing with what I dealt with my disordered relationship with food. So, that being said, um, I am not my label. I am not a label. And I am not going to stay loyal to a label to the detriment of my journey to optimal health. And so I got a comment on, I posted on Instagram a couple days ago. I was showing one of the meals that I make. And I've had people who have asked me, and I have set up back here different things to show you in this video. And I am so I show occasionally a single meal when I happen to be making it. I'll record it and pop it up on Instagram. And I got a comment because I made a can of Kirkland chicken, dumped that in my pasta bowl, and the other half of the bowl had I actually, yeah, I think I showed it, the Bubby's fermented spicy sauerkraut. And I happen to I'll say I love sauerkraut. So uh, it's, and there are carnivore doctors out here, Dr. Sean O'Mara, who is emphatic about including fermented vegetables with every bite of his meat at every meal. This isn't just something like, yeah, occasionally I'll have some sauerkraut because I need the variety. No, he's adamant about the interchange of chewing ferments with your meat being important. And so again, there's we we have to stop thinking about pigeonholing people and diets and protocols and start thinking about what is going to work for you, what works for me, what works for them, and not be, we could say, well, we have these sectors of vegans, vegetarians, carnivores, uh, keto, right? And we have to stop feeling like we have to open the gate, step in, and now I'm here, and not be paying attention to what's going on. And I'm not here to say one way or another that carnivore can't be done long term. I'm sure it can for many people. I'll tell you, if I need to always stay in ketosis on in my carnivore um, tribe, I would have to, and this is in my experience, fast, intermittent fast, long, 18 to 24 hours OMAD. And then when I have that meal, it's got to be very high fat. That's not sustainable for me. I don't enjoy eating a stick of butter and a little burger patty or half of a ribeye. I want to eat a ribeye when I eat a ribeye. And so I'm just saying, for me, from my perspective, doing what I was learning I needed to do, like all day sardines, worked great for getting my ketones up. Worked even better if I did 2 or 3 days. And that also brought my glucose down. It's not sustainable for me. And I don't want to do that. And the weight that I lost during that experiment um, came right back on when I then went back to my normal carnivore way of eating, which is meal one, eat my meat, pound a burger. I got a big appetite. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I can put down a pound of burger like that. Meal two, a steak. Could I have eaten a little piece of tenderloin because it's leaner and had cream cheese, butter, blue cheese, steak sauce to because you now let's get to this. Calories, in my experience and in my experimentation, calories do matter. So I can't eat a full 1 pound ribeye plus add a little more fat to get my macro into the ketosis range and also not gain weight. I'll actually say not gain weight because I will gain weight with that. And that was not acceptable to me anymore. And I started to slowly experiment. And I started thinking to myself, what is going to be satiating, sustainable, and bring me down to my ideal body weight? I'm not there yet. I and I'm also monitoring my glucose along the way. And that's not going to be shown within a couple months. I mean, I need 6 to 12 months to go by of doing this before I really feel like, all right, this is exactly what happened. Here was point A, here's point B. I'm in the middle. I'm in the AB spot. And so I, though, want to always be genuine and authentic with what I share. And I can't show you, here's my 1 pound ribeye and my side of blue cheese butter. Boy, is this good. And then in the background, say, that's not working for me. Now, what am I going to do? Now, what am I going to share? Well, what I'm going to share is exactly what I'm doing and what's happening. So I have to say that if you're along for the ride, even though I'm carnivore adjacent and stepping a foot out of the carnivore box, because yes, I am including salsa, sauerkraut, um, some pickles, some, let's see what else, tomatoes. Well, that's in the salsa, but yeah, I will outright eat a can of San Marzano tomatoes with some boneless, skinless chicken or ground chicken or my egg whites because, yes, I'm going also very low fat. Why? I need a volume of food. And if I eat a volume of high fat food, the calories shoot through the roof. And Lisa needs to put her stretchy pants on and start holding the camera further back and higher up in her Instagram post because this is a battle for me. And I just hope that um, you all can maybe um, relate, have compassion for, not throw shards of comments at me of, well, I'm over and out, if you're not strictly in the carnivore box. And that's fine. I'm not here to feel like I need to pull in and keep Carnivore Tribe, stay with me if you're interested in my journey and if you feel the things that I am experiencing and I learn that if I can teach that, then awesome. So I did want to do this as a little Q&A, but maybe we'll do that at the end. But for now, I'm going to show you one of the important things is uh, that I've been really bad about this because I don't typically keep a big thing like this next to me and drink the whole thing because I was always the one where I'd be like, drink when you're thirsty. And why never went along with that drink a gallon of water a day kind of thing. Or they say, well, drink as many ounces as, your weight or all that. But have to say there is something very much to um, having a full amount of water each day. I have a reverse osmosis system. I have a tankless, so there's no plastic tank underneath my kitchen sink. It's a tankless system. I'll go into water and reverse osmosis and remineralizing it and all that on another video. But I also do because I vary between intermittent fasting because ultimately I've realized I really don't need as much food as I was wanting and putting in my body. Um, it and like I said earlier, I learned that with the sardine fasting issue, but it's very interesting that we want to sometimes put something in our mouth, put something in our stomach. So I find this has been very beneficial. I I think to myself, I should be able to get through 2 of these a day. I think this one's a 30 ounce. But I I make because I don't have my reverse osmosis system in this condo hooked to my ice maker on my freezer here. So I shut that off and I just make ice cubes with my reverse osmosis water. So I put that in there. Oh, I forgot. Hang on. I got to get my water. So um, the other thing I do, and partly because I absolutely love it, and I've talked about this before, but um, let's talk about the apple cider vinegar thing and the vinegar before I go into this. Um, the let me pull this up. Sorry, I was trying to be really organized, but I was kind of behind the 8 ball this morning. So I'll probably do a whole separate video about this because there's a lot of information. But apple cider vinegar specifically, but pretty much all vinegars have been studied for their potential role in reducing visceral fat, the harmful fat that surrounds the internal organs, right? I think if you've been in this space long enough, you've heard about visceral fat. Go head over to Dr. Sean O'Mara. He's like the king of visceral fat. And the visceral fat raises your risks of metabolic disease. And the research shows that acetic acid, so let's just call it ACV, apple cider vinegar, which is the active acetic acid is the active compound in vinegar. It helps reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes and improves insulin response. Better insulin control reduces the likelihood of excess fat storage. We kind of know all these things, particularly around the abdomen. All right. It also, let's just talk about vinegar because I use all types of vinegar, not just apple cider vinegar, but when I'm using it in my drinks, it's always apple cider vinegar. Appetite and satiety regulation. Vinegar slows stomach emptying and may increase satiety hormones, leading to reduced calorie intake. Some studies suggest people naturally eat 200 to 300 fewer calories a day when vinegar is included. So, all really interesting information, right? Animal studies indicate that it can upregulate genes involved in fat oxidation while downregulating those linked to fat storage. This may shift the body toward burning rather than storing visceral fat. I can link some studies below because there's a Japanese study where they took 175 obese individuals. Um, and they consumed either 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of vinegar daily for 12 weeks. The results were decreased body weight, 2 to 4 pounds on average, decreased waist circumference, decreased visceral fat area measured by CT scan. The higher dose showed greater effects. Um, so I won't go like further into that other than when I study things like this, I think to myself, let's experience it for yourself. Let's experiment. And so what I did is, and I've done this for a while, partly because enjoy, I greatly enjoy vinegar. I love the sauerkraut, the pickles, the capers, all that kind of stuff. So this is rather easy for me. But what I did just to make things even easier, because the studies show the benefits take 8 to 12 weeks to show up to measurably have a visceral fat change. So we have to be consistent. And to make a change is not so easy because we're very rooted in our routines and our habits. So I try to change my mindset around things. And initially, I need to put up reminders and make things easy. So to start remembering to use ACV daily, twice daily, multiple times, right? I poured apple cider vinegar with the mother into a glass mason jar with a metal lid. This pump part might be plastic, but you can't do everything, right? I keep this on the door of my refrigerator. So even if I pour a seltzer, I will just open the door and let's see if I will typically have, let's say, a full seltzer into here and then open the door and I already counted how many squirts I've measured. Make a tablespoon and off to the races. It's easy. It's on the door. Open it up, squirt. And in addition to that, I know I'm giving you all Dr. Lisa tips and tricks here that might seem really silly and make me seem a little cuckoo, but I will take a Post-it note and put it on the handle or just to the side of the handle of my refrigerator. Why? Because that Post-it note's weird and doesn't belong there. And when I see it, I'm like, ooh, remember the ACV. And that's how I start developing that habit. And I don't know if it's helpful. Awesome. Uh, so as far as that goes, then the timing of it. Oh, so I'll give you just a touch. 1 to 2 tablespoons diluted in water or used in meals. So I could get into that with. I have some different. Well, like if canned chicken, canned salmon, canned tuna. I might chop pickles and put it in there, add a little pickle juice, add some squirts of apple cider vinegar, and maybe put in there mustard, which also has vinegar. And I know this is sounding really sour, but I don't, for some reason, my taste buds love it. And so sometimes I will get some apple cider vinegar in that way. Also, if I make some sort of bone broth, and I will show you what I'm going to do with that. Very easy to add some pumps of apple cider vinegar in there because it tastes really good with bone broth. And actually, when you make bone broth, if you make it from scratch in a crock pot by putting a bunch of bones in there, it's great to add a few tablespoons of apple cider vinegar while that simmers to help pull out the minerals. So, okay, so I will get into the chat at the end, but I want to just go straight through and do this video so that people who watch these kind of videos who don't like the Q&A part of it can just shut it off at that point. So, all right. So now that I went off on the ACV tangent, I'm going to tell you, let's see. Okay. So this is what reminded me, my mind goes all over. I think I had ADHD in another life and I'm just trying to fight it. I have come to love. And so, and I'll tell you, I do some intermittent fasting. Um, Partly, well, it all has to do with what is sustainable and what is satiating for me and what's going to work. So I know some people will say, no, to improve your leptin, you need to eat within the first hour of waking, and then that's going to help your leptin and your ghrelin. All right, that is another experiment to do and see if that works for you and see what happens. So far, and I'm not discounting that either, because there are times where I wake up and I normally get up pretty early. Um, so, and I do my outside sunrise light. I do my lymphatic hops and my swings. If you saw my video I posted yesterday, go check that out. I have a full timed video. And then sometimes I'm like, dang, I'm hungry. And so I experiment with saying, okay, let me see. And I think that's actually really a good sign. To have hunger in the morning is a good sign. And you should not be drinking a cup of coffee at that point to then prolong your so-called intermittent fast and use that as a appetite suppressant. I'm very much against that, because of, through all my years of digging deep and researching, and for myself, I mean, I used to be a coffee addict pretty much most of my life. But back in the original Zeroing In on Health group, there was a lot of talk about absolutely not. Liquid coffee should never be your first meal of the day. If you're going to have coffee, it happens during or after your meal. So you wait until you're good and hungry. And when you are, you have a meal, even if it's, a little bit of eggs and bacon, and that's when you have your coffee. And I'll go off on a little tangent here for a sec. I am going to do an entire video about coffee substitutes for that ritual and that routine and that habit that we love. And that I got my 85-year-old mother 6 months ago off of an entire lifetime of having 2 cups of coffee each morning, and sometimes one in the afternoon, but usually just her morning coffees. Like, no problem whatsoever. How? With a variety of different hot beverages, hot nogs. I said, Mom, we're making you a hot nog. Then I started making up lots of them in mini bags for her. She snips off the corner, it drops in, and she puts the hot water and froths it, and she's a happy camper. So in any case, there's lots of different variations for that. But if I push myself to not eat, I am I have to wonder to myself, is this sustainable? Can I do that every day? Do I want to do that every day? Is it optimal for my health? Right? This is all like, come on in with me, guys. This is me just talking out my journey and what's happening. So and I just looked over at one of the comments, and says, thanks for sharing. Your videos are an inspiration for us newcomers. So here's my thing with that, which I mentioned at the beginning of this, is, I don't want to sidetrack newcomers who are coming either from a standard American, which I call the standard atrocious diet, because it's, it could be standard Australian diet for the A, standard atrocious diet. You need to do a year of carnivore. You need to get to the point where your body clears out the seed oils, clears out the breads and the pastas and all that. And so again, I'm so hesitant to derail anybody who's on a great path for them to hear what I'm saying and say, well, what the F? Here's another conflicting bit of information that we got to process. And it just came down to I couldn't not I can't not talk about this because this is my reality right now. And my whole thing here, I'm not doing this for this isn't my livelihood. um, I am semi-retired as an eye doctor. I still see patients on a very limited basis. Why? Because I ended up, I host a member group because I have so many people that want to come in and have me get to know them and help them. And I've got tons of information in my member group about the cholesterol issue, the gout issue, the hormone issue, fasting. I mean, there's so much in there. And so that's a lot of my time. And this is my passion, but I believe for me, yes. Do I get a bit of an income off of some of these things, some of the affiliate stuff? Yeah, but it's truly stuff I authentically love and use. Nothing is me taking in these affiliate things, telling you something and waiting for a monthly paycheck to come in, because that's never ever going to happen. And I hope I at least, come across like that, because it's not something I feel like I should have to explain. In any case, that being said, I will go on to saying a product that I'm talking about here that I use and love. Why? Because uh, I enjoy it and I feel like there's a lot of benefit to it. So, this electrolyte thing has apple cider vinegar in it. So, it's got organic lemon, organic apple cider vinegar, electrolytes, Himalayan sea salt, and minerals. So, let me just see on this bag. Yeah. So these come in a bag of 30. I give these out at all of my meetups, in my swag bags for the cruises and the trips that I have coming up. You can, if you want, because I'm going to show you. Um, so it's just a quick, easy way for me to get. Now, could you do this separately? Could you put in unflavored electrolytes and then go to your fridge and pump in your apple cider vinegar and then squeeze in some lemon? I happen to love a subtle taste of lemon. And in any case, this is so quick and easy, and I love it. And so that's why I do it. The company does offer this trial pack. So this one is when you order a bag of 30 of these. There's 5 of these packets in here. They offer it free, other than you pay for shipping. So if you want to try it, and you just pay shipping and they ship you out this bag of 5. And I've had so many people who have just said they absolutely love it. And thank you so much for introducing them to it. And I'm so happy about that. And so I will get through one of, oh, I try to get through. So I only put electrolytes like in one of my drinks here. I love this hydro flask because it does not leak. I used to always say I hate the ones with straws, because how the hell do you clean straws and it gets mucky? But I don't know. I've had this one for maybe 6 months now, and it's really good. All right. So this is one of my tips and tricks also for my weight loss. Now, I have lost about 12 of the pounds, and then I went on a 2-week cruise, and totally out of my routine because I was hosting people. We were basically having brunch and dinner. And in any case, you're out of your element, you're out of your routine. And I put on 4 pounds during that time, but 3 of them are already off in just 4 days. So whatever. In any case, I'm back to my routine, and it's funny that this is called morning routine, but I use this as part of what helps me just to uh, not be so focused on food and getting a lot of food, because I make sure I've got a lot of uh, water going to. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to show, and I put on, okay, so I'm going to show you in this clear container something else that I really love. Now, I can't turn my, all right, this kettle, absolutely love. It's on a base on my counter. There's a little button you push to start it and a dial you twist to the exact temperature that the water heats to. And then you can put it on hold. It will just hold it there. So I'm very temperature picky. Very. I love things really hot. Case in point, this, I heat this, well, this is at 185. I know that's insane. Most people will be like, ah, burning my tongue. I need an ice cube. But okay, so one of the things, and like I've been talking about, it is calories in, calories out. This is my pedometer. People are going to ask. I no longer wear an Apple Watch because of the EMFs, and I love my little pedometer. It keeps me on track. I get 10 to 15,000 steps a day because I feel good doing it. I feel like I'm not out there doing it just for the weight loss, but I feel it's really important for health. I try to do that Japanese interval walking, which 30 minutes of that is equal to 10,000 steps. So people are saying, well, why did you do the video and are walking 10,000 steps anyway? Well, guess what? I will do the Japanese interval walking during the 10,000 steps. So who knows? Maybe that's worth 30,000 steps, whatever. Just walk, just get out there and walk, and whatever it takes to motivate you. This motivates me. If I've been editing for like 4 hours on my computer to try to get up a video for you guys, and I look down and I see 712 steps that I've just walked around my condo that day, I'm like, ooh, get off your fanny, girl. So, okay. I'm sorry, I digress. This this next thing is for sometimes, and I'm talking about weight dropping here. I'm not talking about a forever, what are we doing here kind of thing. I'm talking about there's times where I need to figure out how I am going to be in a calorie deficit. Because guess what? Through all of my experience and experiment, I need to be in a calorie deficit or else the pounds aren't coming off. So this is, and I'm just going to, so this comes with a scoop, and I am going to put it in a clear vessel before I pour it. And I'm going to explain it in a minute, but, and then you can decide exactly where you're at with it. This has got graduated measurements on here. And so this is just a different, and I'm all about quick and easy and simple. And okay, so now I will show you. This is Salty Provisions Savory Electrolyte Broth with Herbes de Provence. It's got sodium, potassium, magnesium, and organic MCT oil powder to make it this little bit of creamy. And because I just told you I love things really hot, always is going to end up going in. And sip this over a few hours where you might feel like you want a snack or you feel like you just need something. And it's delicious. And you just adjust how many scoops to what percentage of water that you like, and it works great. So let me quick talk about spices. Uh, I hope you like spices. If you want to kind of go along with what I'm saying here of what I'm doing, or if you tolerate spices. Technically, spices in the carnivore box, no. Do the majority of people in this space use various spices? Yes. Um, they don't negatively affect me. They make my ground chicken and ground turkey and egg whites that I make spectacular. Because people crunch up their nose and like, oh, you really eat ground chicken and you eat egg whites? Like, that's just no way sustainable or satiating. And I'm like, ooh, it is for me, for sure. You can get all sorts of different things. And again, don't throw shards at me for being out of the carnivore box here, because there are some things that are out of the carnivore box. This is, and this I just found at like Home Goods kind of thing, caramelized onion, and it has onion, sea salt, chives, paprika, black pepper, coconut, turmeric, and says try it on sour cream, roasted vegetables, grilled cheese, burger patties, blah blah blah, whatever. Um, you just pick things you like. I found this one, butter chicken. Anybody have that Indian dish, butter chicken? Well, here is the spice mix, and you can mix that into non-fat Greek yogurt and use that as a little dip for if you make, like, let's say, a turkey burger. Um, I'm just saying that it's been key for me to dramatically drop my fat, and that's what's working. So let me look at the time here. All right, I'm gonna stop blah blah blahing. I will say, as far as the spice thing goes, too. Let me just throw this in. Um, I have been using, mainly because I really feel like this is a phenomenal. Oh, and one other thing, the apple cider vinegar that I showed and pumped in here for you earlier, showing you what I put in my seltzer, that's going right into my little broth thing here. um, but that Salty Provisions has incredible spices, and they're all salt based, and it's Norwegian salt. Has been third party tested for heavy metals. And if you've looked at the controversy with all of the main popular brands that many in the carnivore box have been using, um, that this is a total winner for me. I have shifted. I love the variety that they offer. So they have a butter salt, which has got dehydrated butter flakes with the salt flakes. This Wonderlust is pretty incredible as a go-to for pretty much anything and everything. They have this coffee salt, and this has Norwegian sea salt, dark roast ground coffee beans, granulated garlic, granulated onion, green onion, organic, coconut, minced yellow onions, black pepper, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, whatever this little magical mixture is, it's awesome. But there's tons and tons. If you want to try them out, they offer this sample collection. This one's got award-winning hot salt, award-winning, because these salt people get really competitive and they go into competitions, and their salt, two of their flavors won. Award-winning zesty pickle. I actually haven't tried the zesty pickle yet. I just got my sample pack here, so I'm going to dig in and try the zesty pickle. So in here, in all the different flavors, you can get, one of them is double onion and roasted garlic. One of them is their regular plain Norwegian flake sea salt. The Wonderlust you get. There's a hibiscus flower. I haven't tried that one yet, but I do have a sample of that. Um, Another one called Chicago Style, another one called Lemon Zest, and the last one that's also included in here, it says, and our most popular flavor, coffee salt. Coffee salt tastes great on steaks, burgers. It tastes great on lots of things. So that's that. And I do put it on. I had all this other stuff here to show you, but I'm just going to go and do some of the questions. And I get so many questions now. And I know once I post my before, during, and current, before I figured this out and got to my highest weight, I am going to do a video and post that because I want people to see what has happened and how I'm dealing with it. And then a photo when I was like 2 months into it, and then where I'm at now, which, like I said, I'm still looking to get down to that athletic, ripped. I feel so good when I'm metabolically healthy and lean. So, all right. So, what was I going to say? Oh, I'm getting so many questions about this, and I've decided to make a separate group outside of my carnivore tribe. I have a member group where I coach and we talk about sugar addiction and food addiction and um, your plan and staying on track and how to navigate social situations. And just I get to know the members really well, and it's an awesome group. I talked about it earlier, but I don't want to muddy the waters and send mixed messages. So I'm in the process of making a group called in Locals platform. And for anybody who wants to come in, and I'm going to go live every week. I'm going to do recipe cooking demos. I'm going to talk exactly getting to know you, what I think your macros should be. I can't answer questions when I get 50 to 100 a day and I don't know enough about you to give you the real nitty gritty of what's been working. So if you're interested in that, drop me send me your email address and I'm going to put here, just send it to, let me see if it went in there. Send it to, carnivore doctor 2020 at Gmail. Just put in the subject line, locals, or just explain in there. I just say I'm interested in, and then I will, once I get the link, I will get you information for that. Okay, so let me see where I was going with that. Sorry, I'm a little bit scattered. I really had no plan for this live this morning other than just doing a Q&A. And then I thought, you know what? I think you guys want and need to know more about what's going on with all of this. So, all right, let me pull up. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna start doing some of the Q&A here. I'll pull over some questions. Okay, Adita says she's going through the exact same thing, also doing exactly what I'm doing. Awesome. So let me know if that's, and it's a process. This is not something where you do it for 4 days and you're like, this isn't working or this is working. You have to, change is hard, and our bodies, I fully believe that we get into a set point with our weight, and it takes a lot to pull out of it. So you all know, so this ain't easy. Okay, let's keep going here. You're singing my song, 2.5 years. For some of us, unfortunately, calories matter too. Yeah, and again, the conflicting information that's out there is you will hear some big influencers say, you can't gain weight on carnivore. Eat until you're comfortably full. Yeah, well, my pants got uncomfortably full after eating until I was comfortably full. So there's that. I beg to differ with you, big Mr. Big Influencer. You most certainly can, as a 60-year-old female, put on lots of weight. You can creep yourself all the way into pre-diabetic range, and you will see when I go over. I'm going to do a whole separate video just on my blood work. I don't do blood work very often, and I I I needed to keep on top of my A1C. I've got a strong family history of diabetes, although I don't ever think that that's my doom ahead because of that. It's what I decide to do day after day and what I decide to put in my mouth or not put in my mouth that is going to ultimately be the factor in that. So, um, thank you so much, Peaceful Wolf Retirement. I I just really feel there's no way. Oops, sorry, I'm not supposed. So I'm trying this new mic that like I said at the beginning, and I'm not supposed. My hair shouldn't touch it, and I shouldn't touch it, or else I'm sure it's not so good on your end. um, but yeah, I I've always said when like going through carnivore, you have to be uncomfortable with being different because friends, family, coworkers, they're always going to come at you with, well, how could you possibly think this is healthy? Or what are you doing? How are you blah blah blah, And so it's you need to be comfortable with being different because the rest of the world operates on a different level as far as food and what's normal to. I mean, God, you look at what people have in their shopping cart when you're shopping, it's like appalling what they don't know and don't understand and don't realize. So but I feel like I'm at the point where I need to step my whole leg out of the carnivore box, whatever you guys want to call it as far as the label, and show you and tell you what I'm doing. Why? Because it's working. And I was very cautious to not just willy nilly, because I'm going to show you somebody, oh boy, somebody gave me a real scathing comment on one of the first videos about a month, I don't know, whatever. It was probably about a month ago when I started disclosing that I was eating some salsa. And what I in this low fat thing I'm doing. And this woman belted out that you're just on another um, crazy, going down another crazy rabbit hole and blah, 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 blah. And, I've got thick skin. I can take the comments, but please refrain from telling me that I'm off track with this thing and blah blah blah. You can literally, I'm okay with people exiting if they don't want to follow. Maybe you stay carnivore and you're curious what happens with my blood work, and I'm just here telling you my authentic story, and that's all I've ever been about. Like, I'm not here to although I got to admit, I would like that silver play button from YouTube. I think, 20,000 more people. I don't know why. I just, like I'm visualizing I'm going to get that little play button. But other than that, that doesn't get you anything monetarily. The subscribers doesn't get you anything extra. It all just depends on whether you hit the like, you become engaged, you make a comment, and you forward the video to somebody else. That's the only thing that matters. Your subscriber number doesn't matter. The thing that matters with subscriber numbers, you got potentially more people that could hit the like, comment, and forward your video. But I digress. I'm telling you a little behind the scenes stuff. On that yesterday's video that I posted, I posted it Friday night. I gave a little behind the scenes because I think it's interesting to see what happens. And oh my God, if I showed you the behind the scenes here, no, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I have all this stuff over here prepped that I was going to show you things, and we're just out of time. So I will do a whole other video on different things about what I eat in a day. And um, let me just write a message here in the comments. Email me your email address. Oh, that's silly because when you email me, I get your email address. Email me if interested in joining, I can't spell, joining, just call it the locals. I think that's what I'm going to do it on. I applied to have a community there, locals group community, for in-depth info on my, I'm going to just call it weight loss protocol. I think I spelled, excuse the typos if I have any. Okay, let me go on with a couple other questions. So, Dr. O'Mara has done over 6,000 MRIs. He knows visceral fat. Yeah, 6,000. I'm hopefully on, those are all on other people. Yeah. And I have not had an MRI, nor will I get an MRI for an exact visceral fat measurement because of the radiation involved in it. And it's not a critical number for me to understand because why? Because I'm doing a lot of different things to reduce my visceral fat. And by getting my body fat percentage way down from, I think I was like 29.8, but let's just say 30%. I'm not shooting for a number. I'm not chasing a number. I know where I feel good, and that's really what's going to, and I'm sure it's going to end up being less visceral fat. I do have a scale, one of those smart scales that does like, I don't know, 10 different parameters: skeletal muscle mass, body fat percentage, uh, age, like whatever, like, so I'm 60. It shows that I'm 58 according to my measurements. So, um, my biological age versus my um, health age, I guess. But it has visceral fat. And so in this so far, I've gone from 7 down to a 6 down to a 5. And I'd like to get it down to like a 3 or a 2 or a 0 ideally, right? So I know I'm not I'm not I'm not there yet. So come along on the journey with me, and let's see what we can do. Um, okay, so somebody here is saying, Chrissy says, carnivore a couple of years. When added in fermented foods, she bloats really bad for several hours. Help. Um, That's interesting. I've not had the bloat, but what I would say is, um, well, see, I don't know exactly where you're at, Chrissy. I need to know a lot more about you before I suggested other things. But start with maybe changing which ferments you use and how they're fermented, and also maybe try fermenting your own. And I'm going to actually put up a recipe and I'm going to demo doing that. So let's see if that might help. I don't know. And maybe you just need a little more time for your gut microbiome to heal. And I've got another thing on the side burner rabbit hole going for that, but I'm not even going to open my lips on this one until I get a little into it. Um, and Sharon says she's a sour lover too. Seltzer with ACV and lemon juice daily. Awesome. Yeah. So see if you're doing, so I'm trying to do, work yourself up. First start with just a tablespoon a day and then do a tablespoon just prior to each meal, and then work it up to see if you can get 2 tablespoons. I don't know. And then, like I said, what I read to you, it says, what was it, 8 to 12 weeks before the benefit of the visceral fat shows up of consistent use. There's the issue. And there's why I put the post-it note on my fridge, because like 3 days will go by and I'm like, I haven't had my ACV. Okay. Frugal Prepper's Garage and Garden says, I had macadamia and degeneration 3.5 years ago. I stopped seed oils, mostly carnivore, and I see great and have no macular edema on a checkup. You saved my vision. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I just got goosebumps. You can't even imagine how It's like bringing tears to my eyes, how happy that makes me feel. And oh my God, I'm getting choked up. What did you do to me? Um, I always said if all of the time and work that I pour into this, and sometimes I even thought this the other day, I'm like, why am I doing this? I literally I spent I'm not exaggerating, 16 hours from 6 a.m. Friday morning until 10 p.m. Friday night, recording, editing, uploading, and doing a video. And I'm like, what am I doing? Um, and this is why I'm doing it. My member group is amazing. I get such amazing connection with the people in there. Um, I really get to know people, and we become friends. And we are meeting at Hack Your Health, and we got to meet at Meat Stock, and I got to hug the heck out of these people. And but just knowing that that I'm helping people is everything to me. So thank you so much for your comment. And I also am going to add for you to make sure you are also blocking the artificial lights. Use those blue blocker glasses. Try to be in darkness in the evening. Try to make sure you look at the sunrise in the morning. And it's really really important. I'd say equally important as the eliminating the seed oils is also eliminating junk light. Okay. Steven says, followed me for years on his go-to for health and fasting. Thanks for what I do. Thank you, Steven. I don't want to say I feed off of the positive feedback, but I really feel that my whole thing here, my whole purpose here is connecting with you all. And that's knowing that at least I'm very analytical and I dive deep into things. And so if all my research can end up with bits and pieces of knowledge that you guys can grab and run with, I'm so thrilled. Um, let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh, we're already over an hour. Last 25 years, I've always had 2 liters of water added with 4 caps of apple cider vinegar ready to drink in the fridge. That's awesome. And that's another great tip, is just to have preloaded right in there. And then when you open the fridge, what you're grabbing is already got what you're saying we want to do. All right. Question, nuts for the beach. Oh, I'm nuts for the beach too. Does that electrolyte product have citric acid? So I'm assuming you're talking about this one, or maybe you're talking about this one. I'm going to say I think almost all of them have citric acid in it, but crystallized lemon, um, pink Himalayan sea salt. I do not see citric acid, but you know what? Go to their website. I have the link in the notes. You'll get a discount with my link. So I already posted the link, and they hit ingredients and it'll pop up. Okay. All right. I better jump off here because nobody wants to click on a video that's over an hour long. So, um, thank you so much for joining in, and leave a comment and tell me what other videos you're interested in seeing. And remember, if you want to jump into that separate new group where I'm going to step everybody through the journey with me and go into details of exactly what I do, let me know. And stay tuned for some upcoming very, 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 very vulnerable videos. One of them is just a simple, I'm going to go through my blood work and just be totally upfront with that. And the other one is the biggie, where I'm going to actually show you my battle with this. And I hope you join in. All right. Love you guys. Thanks.